Here's Haas. Payne Haas! Suncorp erupts! He likes that one, the big fella.
There was a moment when I played for Australia when we versed Samoa in Tianzu and the anthems were playing and my mind started racing back. Lots of memories with my mum making us sing the national anthem for Samoa a lot. I think from that moment onwards, I wanted to play for Samoa and represent my mum's side, the Tall Forward side, and really make them proud.
Well, Payne, a huge decision. You're going to play for Samoa. Can you talk us through the reason? Why did you make the call?
It was a hard one, to be honest. I've been to and throwing for about 2 years now, since 2030, since I played the last Pac Champs for Australia, and I think the moment what made me move was the national anthem. Nearly got teary, to be honest, because all these memories came back. It was me and my brothers, especially my brother Chase. My mum used to make us sing the national anthem at the back of the car, and yeah, I just seen Chase's face pop up and Cleese, and we were all sitting at the back, and it's something I've always wanted to do to honour my grandparents and my mum's side, and I get the chance to do that now, and I'm content with my decision.
You met with Kevy last week or the week before. What was that like? Did you go in there knowing that you'd made your decision, or were you still open-minded?
I made my decision before I even knew Kevy was coach, and then obviously Kevy was coach, and told me he wanted to have a sit down and all that, and I knew what it was about, and in Kevy's fairness, he was so good about it. Told me our relationship's not going to be worse off if you make that decision to go to Samoa. So I got lots of love and respect to Kevin. I was open and honest to him about my decision, and yeah, he respected that.
A lot of people in the game are supportive of the international game growing and people like yourself and Tino going from Australia to play for Samoa, but others aren't as supportive. Have you heard some of the noise, some of the criticism of players who play for New South Wales or Queensland, they're not choosing to play for Australia?
Yeah, and I'm multicultural. I've got lots of backgrounds with me, nationalities, and I'm proud of all of them. My Filo side, my Swiss side, and especially my Samoa side. And, you know, obviously, don't really want to listen to them people because they don't know what it's like in my shoes, so.
Do you think that the NRL should be open-minded in regards to which players are eligible to play Origin?
Yeah, I feel like they should. Like, I see someone like Victor Radley, for example. I feel like he should be able to play Origin still. He is in Australia, in New South Wales, before the age of 13 and played all his juniors before that. And I feel like if someone meets that criteria, they should play. But that's not up to me to make that decision, and we'll see what they say at the end of the year.
What about the other guys who are considering? Tino, the Hammer. Have you spoken to any of those guys about what that could look like if you all go over together?
Yeah, we've had talks. I won't go into depth about what we spoke about and where we're at, but you know, they've got to follow their heart and do what's right for them.
Does it make you any less proud of what you've achieved as playing for the green and gold as well? I imagine that's something that you're very proud of.
No, 100%. I'm super proud to play in that green and gold jersey, and I'm very thankful that I got to do that.
When you finally made the decision, what was that like for the family?
Yeah, it was the best. I think my Samoan side, especially my grandfather's not getting any younger, and I could just be happy playing for Australia and play for the best team. But you know, I want to play for our little nation and really put them on the map and try and win this World Cup. So,
well, Payne, appreciate your time. Good luck with it all.
Thank you.
The man mountain that is Payne Haas, who's made an enormous decision to switch that allegiance from the Kangaroos to his native Samoa, and has done so, Gus, with confidence, conviction, and just seeing the maturity of the man over the last couple of days. He's really at peace with his call.
I love it, and there should be more of it, and we need more players to stand up and make those sort of statements. I've said all along that the international game, the country you play for is the one where you hear the national anthem, and that's, you know it, that's your country. It's as simple as that. And to hear him actually say those words, I thought was brilliant. The international game should not dictate to our domestic representative football, nor should our domestic representative football dictate to the international game. The international game, in the end, is what's going to sell this product globally in the future, long after I'm dead and gone. But you have to start somewhere. And I think it's a really great stand, and I'm so proud that he's going to play for Samoa. I'm sure Samoa is too.
I feel like this may be that tipping point too, Fred, where we do find that right balance in the months to come.
Well, they need to find some rules in amongst eligibility. Can Payne, if he changes his mind, come back and play for Australia? The one thing I do know is England, the game started in England, 1895. So the one thing we're forgetting here is the European part of rugby league, and it's so important. So I think at some stage, the pinnacle of our game, whether it's played once every 4 years, once every 8 years, whatever it is, should be a Kangaroo Tour, and every single person who plays State of Origin should make themselves eligible to be part of that Kangaroo Tour. Apart from that, I think October will be incredible with the Pac Champs. I think the teams and the players that they're forming is going to be an incredible competition for a long time to come. But the pinnacle needs to be the Northern Hemisphere versus the Southern Hemisphere. They do it as well. Great Britain. They're going up to play England this time, but it should be Great Britain. And then all of a sudden, we need to help the Northern Hemisphere at the moment. So I totally support what Payne's doing, but I still think the pinnacle of the game should be a Kangaroo Tour, whether it's played every 8 years, whatever it is, and then everyone who plays Origin should make themselves available for that tour.
Bang on. Gal, I've got to say, he mentioned there the Pacific Championships, with no Kangaroos there because of that Ashes tour. It looked depleted, but the thought of Tonga Samoa at a Suncorp Stadium, that will be something special.
Yeah, it will be something special for sure, especially for them. But guys, I don't understand. Look, Payne talks about his heritage and his background. I'm only Australian, so I only know when Gus talks about anthems, I only hear the Australian anthem. That's who I want to play for. So I don't understand their heritage, but obviously they want to play for him. I think it's going to be great for the international game. But I'm with Freddie. I do think there needs to be some rules around Origin. I think Origin eligibility is okay. I think the international eligibility needs to be looked at.
Okay, more to come on that, no doubt. Let's bring in Payne's coach, of course. Our star of the spotlight tonight, Michael Maguire, who joined us. Madge, always great to catch up. Thanks for being here on 100%. You've had an up-close and personal look at Payne going through this process. What have you made of the decision and how he's gone about it?
Yeah, I'm a bit the same as what the boys just discussed. I think it's great for the international game, and I was fortunate to be a part of the Kiwis there for quite some time, and understanding the passion that they have for where they've come from, and getting to know Payne the way I have this year. He's very strong on family and where he's come from, so I think it's a great thing for Payne. Obviously the rules need to be looked at, and how that's going to play out, that's not up to me, but I think it's great for the international game that they're going to spread, and I think for Australia and New Zealand, I think they're going to have to hurry along to make sure that they can build the squads that they need to go up against the teams like Tonga and Samoa and Fiji and so on, because to be a part of that World Cup a couple of years ago was pretty special. I think it's a big part of our game.
Michael, you won a premiership with the Rabbitohs down here in Sydney, and you had a very dominant leader in that pack called Sam Burgess. And you're now at the Broncos, and you've got a fellow like Payne Haas. Can you compare the two in their personality, character, and what they mean to their respective teams?
Yeah. Oh, look, they're both incredible human beings. That's the first part, and I think the way they carry themselves and the way they play, spoke for itself. But I guess the big thing I'm seeing Payne this year just really grow within himself, and he's become a stronger leader. I think I was fortunate when I landed with Sam. He'd probably a bit further ahead in that space, but to watch Payne develop, especially from the experience that I was able to have with him last year through the Origin period, it's been really great to watch. And I think there's so much more in Payne, and I think what he's doing right now is just showing what he's about, and standing to what he wants to believe and what he wants to move towards. And I can see him doing that in a great way for us here.
What about the team, Michael? Great victory on the weekend, coming back from behind. I look at your run in, and you've got the Knights, the Cowboys, who aren't doing too well at the moment. Then you finished with the Storm. Now, it was the Storm game where all the injuries occurred. How do you think you went in that game? Were you competing with the Storm up until that time when they all got injured?
Yeah, Freddie, I got a hell of a lot from that game. I thought that we competed in certain parts of the game at a high level, and I felt that there were times where we had the momentum of the game, and I think our players, what they are learning at the moment, especially this last little period of what we've had over the couple of months, is playing the long game, and what I mean by that is getting to the 80th minute. And the last few weeks, even that Storm game, I felt that there was a real fight in the team to want to be able to get the result, and we've sort of shown that over the last couple of weeks that you win a game over 80, and you just got to make sure that you play the style that you're developing, and that's something there that I've seen really grow in this last couple of months with us.
Now, do you have any update on the injuries to some of those key players that you got?
Yeah, I'm hoping that Reno might be a couple of weeks. So he's probably closer than the other two. Ezra and Selly, they're probably a little bit of a long shot for us at the moment. So fortunately for us, we had Hunty and Billy come in and do a great job for us. To have Hunty with the experience he's got, and I've had Billy, as I've stated before, and he's a great player. So, and then we're able to bring Pakesy back in, our dummy half, and then Tyson Smoothie, who's played a lot. So we're fortunate we've got a bit of depth there that can cover off on a few things that are going on at the moment.
Michael, what brand of heart tablets are you on? I'm just inquiring for myself because your team, I've nicknamed the Thrill Seekers. They just don't, they don't resemble a team coach like you at different times. They're off on their own tangent. You sit there sometimes, just hold on to your seat and say, what's going to happen next?
Yeah, pretty well. I mean, on the weekend I came out at half time, I sat down and the opposition was scoring a try, so I'm not quite sure where that one came from. So things like that are happening. But what I'm seeing is a real growth in the group, Gus. I mean, they love their footy. Reece and, even our younger guys, Dean Mariner, Josiah Karapani. Like I've just got this young, youthful group that has some good leaders really helping the boys out to develop what we want to play. So, I enjoy them having a crack, but they've also got to have that understanding of what wins a real big game, and they're moving towards that really quickly.
Now, tell me honestly, when Reece Walsh gets the ball, I reckon both coaches hold their breath. When Reece gets the ball, have you got any idea what he's about to do with it?
Believe it or not, Gus, I actually do. And look, a lot of people look into his game and have a lot of opinion, but if you saw the practice that Reece does in the background to be able to create the things that he does, there's a reasons why he comes up with some brilliant plays, and I'm fortunate to see that quite often at training. But that's what he's practicing, and sometimes it doesn't come off, and because he's so quick, over the last couple of weeks we probably had a couple of forward passes. The blokes on the edges are trying to chase him, so they probably start a little bit ahead rather than being with Reece. So he is electric, and he's great to coach, and obviously the players appreciate him, and they back him up when things don't quite go well.
Matt, can you give us a bit of an insight into Pat Carrigan, the leadership he's shown over the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, Paddy's been great. I mean, I've sort of taken a bit of time to get an understanding of our leadership group, and I think Pat, especially over this last little period, once Origin's finished, has come back and really knuckled down his game. He's doing more extras than I've ever seen him. He's working hard his game. So I guess that's the type of leader that helps develop at this time of year, and I think he's just grown over this period, and obviously with Renault not being there, he's been able to stand up. But we've also got his good mate in Hunty, who he's played a fair bit of games at international and Origin level, so he's got a partner in crime there.
Madge, both you and Wayne Bennett have coached both South and Brisbane. I remember Wayne, when he came down, he said that the rivalry between the Sydney clubs, he never really understood that and how strong it was. What can you tell us about coaching up in Brisbane?
Yeah, it's big, and I think the Broncos, the brand and who has played before us is enormous. I've been fortunate to sit down with Wally Lewis and Trevor Gilmoster, Alfie Langer, and I could name a whole lot of the players. And then you go to Shane Webke and Petro. I was with Petro on the weekend just talking about the past history. So it makes the club, with great stature. And I guess I felt that when I was down in South with the greats in Johnny Sattler and Bobby McCarthy and Mick Cleary, and you can name those guys that I got to be fortunate to be around. So they are very similar, but up here there's a great rivalry between obviously the local teams, and we played the Dolphins on the weekend, and the atmosphere around the stadium and in and around the streets leading into that game was spectacular. It was great. It's a rugby league town, Brizzy, and everyone loves it up here. So I guess you get a little bit more of that focus because it's a smaller town, and it gets spread there in Sydney. But both clubs are very big.
Madge, thanks so much for joining us on 100% tonight. The Knights this weekend, 3 rounds to go to finals. You're 2 points outside of that top 4. All the best on the run to September.